Chapter 9, Section 3. This section is going to be a lot like 9.2. We're starting on page 629, near the bottom. State the inverse operation for each stated operation. Remember, inverse is opposite. The inverse of addition is subtraction. Inverse of subtraction, addition. In this section, we're going to use multiplication and division. So the inverse of multiplication is division. This is how we're going to undo equations. Inverse of division, you guessed it, is multiplication. Okay, next page, 630. These are the kind of problems we're going to be solving. Example 1 and example 2. So example 1 is 8c equals 48. Right in your book, 8c equals 48. And we know when the constant is right next to the variable, we know that that is multiplication. So we have to use the inverse property, which is division, to get the variable by itself. So I'm going to divide each side by 8. If I divide the left side by 8, I got to divide the right side by 8. 8 divided by 8 on the left side, we cross that out because it's just 1. 48 divided by 8 is 6. So C equals 6. For the second one, don't pay attention to those questions. 2 equals D divided by 4. We have to get the D by itself. The D is being divided by 4, so the inverse would be to multiply by 4. I want you to write it like that. If you want to put the 1 there, you can. If I multiply the right side by 4, I have to multiply the left side by 4. D4 over 4, those will cross out. Eventually you'll just get to the point where, hey, I can just cross those out. Then all that's left on the left side is 4 times 2. So D equals 8. You can be solving one-step equations using multiplication and division this section. First problem, n divided by 4 equals 7. This is a division problem, so I know I need to divide. I need to do the inverse. Instead of dividing by 4, I'm going to multiply by 4. Write it like that. You have to do the same thing on the right-hand side. Remember, the denominator for any whole number is 1, so this would be 4n over 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. They just cross out. N equals 28. B, 3y equals 18. I have to get the y by itself. 3y is multiplication. To undo multiplication, I use the inverse. So I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I can just cross that out. Y equals 6. Oh, let's throw some decimals in there because that's always fun. N divided by 4.3 equals 9.4. This is division. Say good morning to Cody, busting into the classroom. Okay, Cody's done doing recycling, very important. Always recycle. All right, back to C. N divided by 4.3 equals 9.4. The inverse of dividing by 4.3 is multiplying by 4.3. Put that in parentheses because that means multiplication. Write the exact same thing on the right-hand side that keeps your equation balanced. You can multiply the side. Hopefully you're starting to see that you can just cross those out. Then what you have left is 9.4 times 4.3. I'm stalling because I'm using a calculator. 40.4. 40 and 42 hundredths. So n equals 40.42. Another one, 3/10 y equals 3 1/3. This is multiplication. So you have to divide. It's going to look weird, but that's all right. Equals 3 1/3. You want to write it this way, that's fine. Divided by 3/10. 3/10 divided by 3/10 is 1. So I take care of the left side. On the right-hand side, you need to divide that out. Improper fractions. Oops. Write the correct improper fractions. 10/3 divided by 3/10 is 10/3 times 10/3, which gives me 100 over 9. Simplify that, you get 11 1/9. Okay, so you just need to do the inverse operation on every single problem. Okay, next page, E. Before we get to E, today's corny joke is brought to you by, oh, you know who it's brought to you by. I'm not going to name names, but you know who it is. Why don't you ever see hippopotamus hiding in trees? Why don't you ever see hippopotamus hiding in trees? Think about it. Because they're really good at it. All right, E. Y divided by 2/3 equals 2.5. I need to do the inverse. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2/3. 2.5 times 2/3. I don't like the way this is written. So if you write it like this, it might be easier to see. Those go to 1. So you've got 2.5 times 2/3. 5/2 times 2/3 gives you 10/6, which gives you 1 4/6. Yes, you're going to reduce 1 2/3. I'm going to help you set up the rest. You're going to complete them. 3.14 pi. 3.14 y equals 81.2004. Yes, you may use a calculator. I need to get the y by itself. Divide both sides by 3.14. Solve it. Pause the video and solve it. G, y minus 2/3 equals 2.5. Look, they threw something new in. Back to section 9.2. The inverse of subtraction would be adding y minus 2/3 plus 2/3. You have to write the exact same thing over here. Minus 2/3 plus 2/3, that's 0. Y is equal to, solve it. H, 514 equals 81.4 plus x. What's the inverse of 81.4? Subtraction. 81.4, 81.4. So your setup is 514 minus 81.4, and that will equal x. Solve that one. Now, just got to substitute on the next page, seeing if the variable they offer, is it true? So if p is 12, 9 times 12, does that equal 108? 9 times 12 is 108. 108 equals 108. If n is 4, is that a solution too? So 4 divided by 6, is that 24? Nope. Not equal to. Is p equal to 18 a solution? 3 times 18 equal 54. 3 times 18 is 54. 54 equals 50. Last page I want you to complete in your textbook is page 634. Once again, I want you to show me your completion of this page before I give you the practice set. Good job.